Now, I would say that I'm a Fast and Furious fan, mainly because I grew up with the series, and even though they're not the best movies, they're just dumb, fun popcorn flicks and just films not to take too seriously and just have a good time with, honestly. And I think I'm in probably the minority of people who actually don't mind Fast and the Furious nowadays, with the amount of people that I see. So many people just say, oh, they really need to stop with this series. Just stop it already, you know? And yeah, also with the amount of memes that just roll in time and time again, just trolling the absurdity of this series and what it has become. For me, I feel like they should have ended it at like Fast 7 or something, you know. The movie, I'm pretty sure that was the movie that at the end they paid tribute to Paul Walker in an emotional way. But even then, like, I don't really mind that they're just continuing with the series. And I love how the more these movies come out, the more they just have chosen to embrace their silliness and goofiness and just unrealistic and over-the-top nature that the movies are. However, this movie right here, Fast X or Fast 10, whatever you want to call it, I'm just going to call it Fast 10, even though it's technically Fast X. It just shows more and more why they really need to end this long-running series. The 10th installment in this franchise is the first in what's now being called as the series finale trilogy, and focuses on Dominic Toretto's past once again, where a new terrifying threat emerges from the shadows, seeking revenge on Toretto, and tries to shatter his world and destroy his family. So yes, Jason Momoa is the new villain in this one, the son of the villain who got murdered by Dom and his crew in Fast 5, 12 years ago. Damn, I swear, honestly, they never run out of ideas. But other than Jason Momoa, this film definitely doesn't shy away from a star-studded cast to sell the movie. You've got almost all the original Fast cast back at it again: Vin Diesel, Tyrese Gibson, Jordana Brewster, Michelle Rodriguez, Ludacris, Sun Khan, Jason Statham, John Cena, Charlize Theron, as well as a new addition in Brie Larson, and many more. And while all of them perform fine, I still do think that Jason Momoa as Dante is the highlight for me in this film, as this hysterical and silly sociopath that he is being portrayed in this movie. Among all the normality that is a Fast movie, you know, and with all that it brings, he was the thing that made this movie feel fresh. And I say that because, yes, even though this movie still has the same charm as its predecessors, with the over-the-top stunts and witty dialogue some characters are known for longtime fans of this series, and I'm assuming most are, you know, there's no way someone who isn't and is a newcomer of this series just willingly watches this movie, you know. Maybe a small, very small margin of viewers, right? But for the majority of people, this, like, who are watching this one, this movie doesn't really offer any more than any of its predecessors do. It's repetitive with its action, and while the stunts were fairly enjoyable in this one, for a large portion of this movie, there were hardly any, and it just focused on the story, which was a bit of a drag, and repetitive fistfights and chases. I'd argue that it even had like less stunts and less goofiness, and it's just overall less than the previous movie. Before I came into this one, I wanted something dumb and fun and action-packed, filled with memorable stunts, and I wanted it to kind of match or go beyond the silliness, some of the silliness in the previous movie, like when they went to space. And also when Roman Pierce broke the fourth wall or something like that, and he acted like us, saying, you know, how did they survive all these years through all this crazy shit, right? Without even having a scratch to show for it. Like, literally just emphasizing how unrealistic these movies are. I even saw in this movie, and even in, you know, past Fast and Furious movies as well, how, like, there are certain moments where you're just like, okay, that doesn't make a lot of sense, right? Like, for example, when someone, or rather, let's just say Vin Diesel, okay? Wait, no, yeah, Dom Toretto in this movie, right? Rolling down a hill in a car, rolling. The windows are shattering and stuff like that. And you're seeing the mess inside the car just being rolled around. And then in the next scene, you see him. He doesn't even have a scratch. He doesn't have a mark. He doesn't have anything to show for it. That really doesn't make any sense. It's like they're superhuman. Oh man, it's crazy. Anyways, getting a bit off topic here, but to sum it up, basically, this movie just didn't offer anything too much to brag about. After seeing some of the insane stuff Fast and Furious movies in the past had, this one felt way too ordinary and repetitive. That's why I say that Jason Momoa was like the saving grace for this one. He definitely acted like it. All the other characters were fine. I mean, they just were themselves. Or even like a lesser version of that. And this movie also wasn't very emotional. Not as much as I would have hoped it to be coming into it. I do like how in the previous movie, Jacob Toretto, right, played by John Cena, was very, very serious and just he almost looked kind of dead inside, right? But in this movie, he's just kind of like a fun uncle trying to be a dad. Oh man, so it's pretty funny. It was pretty funny to watch that play out. But other than that, I mean, nothing too much to brag about. Ultimately, Fast 10 is a movie that really shows this franchise's seniority. At this point, a lot of the action feels repetitive, almost nothing feels new anymore, and this movie really didn't have enough stunts or silly moments that you can really brag about. I just wish it was crazier and more extravagant. I can only really say that I enjoyed like 2 stunt sequences in this entire movie. One at the start, towards the beginning in Rome, and one towards the end. But none of them really even got close to the stuff the Fast family have done in the past, which shows that maybe it's time to retire. But yeah, so you can kind of understand why I feel the way that I do, and how nothing really, this movie just felt like kind of a drag, and it almost kind of felt like a filler in a way. Okay, here's another thing, right? That's not all. Okay, here's the thing that I'm most torn about in this movie, and it's that this movie basically is unfinished. It's incomplete. There's a major cliffhanger towards the end. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, it's great because there's a talking point, right? It like there's something that makes you really look forward to the next movie, because everything's kind of in the balance, and you don't really know. Like, it's very uncertain, right? Which is cool. But it kind of feels like the audience got ripped off a bit. If the next movie releases in like a year, then I'll forgive them. But if we have to wait another 2 years, then man. I mean, look at Harry Potter 7 and Avengers Endgame and like Infinity War. Both had 2 parts. Both came within like a year apart, within a year kind of the span of a year. This one has 3. It's been speculated. I mean, I think Vin Diesel or some reliable source said that it's now a 3-part finale thing, instead of like, oh, this is going to be the second last movie, and then we're going to have the last movie, which is Fast 11. Maybe it's been speculated in the past. I don't know. I thought it wasn't Fast 11, that it was going to end on Fast 12. I don't know, but regardless, like, this is the rumor that's going around, right? That this is like now a 3. There's going to be 2 movies after this one. Regardless, if Fast 11 doesn't come out in a year, I won't be too happy. Then again, I mean, Dune's second part comes out later this year, and it's been 2 years since Dune Part 1, so I don't know. I mean, I just think like, I mean, I this time it's kind of like different to all the other Fast movies. Like, pretty much all the others of the Fast movies had some kind of conclusion one way or another. This one just doesn't. It doesn't really have a solid conclusion at all. I was so surprised when the credits started rolling. I'm like, wow, Like, I kind of thought it was gonna end like that, but like I was still kind of shocked. Like, I was, wow, it's really gonna end like that. I'm going to give a Fast 10 a C. I would have gone with a B minus or something. I think that's more fair. But with the chart I had, look, I mean, I don't think that chart holds up now. I think the chart needs some adjusting. This was me like, what, fucking 3 years ago or something. Maybe after the final movie of the Fast series, I'll do a chart revamp or something like that. Just kind of adjusting some of the ratings, because I don't think the ratings match up anymore. It's weird. But I mean, yeah, I guess we'll see. But I know for damn sure that I like this movie less than the previous one, and that's why I rated a C, below the B minus rating that I gave the Fast 9. It's literally not even comparing to any other movies. It's like, this grade is literally comparing it to all the other Fast movies. That's why I feel like I've marked it a bit too harsh, because C, I'm pretty sure that's like the worst score I've scored for a movie this year, and I definitely don't, at least 95% don't think that this was the worst movie I've watched this year. A movie by itself is B minus, but comparatively, yeah, it was pretty average. Definitely on the, I would say, definitely on the bottom half of Fast and Furious movies, rating wise. But anyway, I mean, that's about it, I think. I mean, you know what? One last thing before I sign off. The mid credit scene, man, that actually shocked me. I'm not gonna reveal anything, but let me just say it's one that I'm actually I got really excited. This is a movie that really, like, it's like the advert for the actual thing. This movie, like, even though the actual thing probably will be underwhelming if, like, we have really high expectations, for the next movie and the finale, and probably won't be as good as, like, some of us fans want it to be, like, go above its limits, right? But let me just say, from what I feel right now, there was a lot revealed towards the end and in the mid-credit scene. Wow, the mid-credit scene was big. And, I mean, it was like, I was just reading an article about it the other day, thinking that, okay, I'm not going to say too much, but let me just say, I didn't believe it was ever going to happen, but yeah, it was kind of unbelievable in a way. I don't want to spoil anything else, so I'll just leave it at that. I don't think I'm going to make a spoiler review on this movie, but let me just say, for, like, going back to what I was going to say, this movie feels like it's an advert. Like, a lot of things get revealed in the final act. It's like a filler. It's like preparing you for the actual thing. It's like this movie, even it's a long movie, right? It feels a bit of a drag at times, but it's like a long kind of taste to what you're gonna get for the actual main finale, which might be the next one. It might be the next two, but I guess we'll see. Overall, look, as a Fast and Furious fan, this film wasn't very satisfying because it wasn't new, and it wasn't anything new. The stunts weren't that creative. I've seen better, basically, but here's hoping that it might get better. I don't know. I don't know how you're gonna top going into space, but I guess we'll see. But yeah, this movie definitely showed this franchise's age, I'll tell you that much. But anyway, that's it for me. I don't want to take up too much time, even though this review is a lot longer than I would have wanted it to be. But that just shows you how much I care about this franchise. Even though I'm not a huge fan of it, I am, but it's a love-hate relationship because some of the films aren't the best. But whatever. Guys, thanks so much for watching. If you made this far, let me know what you think down below. Like and sub if you enjoyed, and as always, feel free to check out any of my previous videos. Until next time.